This video is going to be a bit out of the ordinary from my usual stuff. But the reason that I bring it forward is because I want to show you guys an example to see the flaws in all of these things of what I'm talking about, the information I'm bringing forward, and the reason why you gotta consider a lot of things when it comes to making a group focused channel or community for what you're going to be putting out there as a creator. If you watch streamers or if you don't watch streamers, there's not going to be much context you need here, but I'm going to be talking about something because I've been a viewer of this stuff and have looked into this stuff for a while and just thinking about what I can take from it to show you guys my words of wisdom about how this stuff feels very big to think about when it comes to what you want to do for yourself as a creator. Now, with me being someone who has watched Kanel Joseph for quite a long time, I feel like this is something that I've put together of reaching a breaking point and like watching stuff. I have some of the same viewpoints as other viewers who comment about these things and comment about some flaws in cast members of this whole stuff. So I'm going to be talking about choice people one by one and then going over the reasons why you should avoid platforming certain people over time. To start off, the member who is the biggest example and the most controversial that I've seen is Krusty Vlogs. As a fellow Latino creator, I do have some aspirations and big hopes for if I might come up someday with the right person or, get featured from a bigger person's actual content. But I've seen that this is a matter of you involving yourself into a place where people are either going to love or hate you based on what you do, and you really, really got to be careful on this kind of stuff, especially when you're just a sideman. He's the only member who's trying to hype up his own involvement just because he knows that he can try and gain an audience out of being in Kanel's clout. And that's something that the other members don't do, or at least show that they don't really care about all that. They actually involve themselves very nonchalantly, but aren't there for the screen time and aren't there to be a lovable face right away. That's the one thing about his involvement that seems readable. You can see that he has the reasoning to want to push himself out and give himself a lot of like screen time to try and make people enjoy him on his own. And I feel like that's one of the things you don't want, right? If you're making your own community and you're trying to build a team of cast members to be a part of your world and your content, you don't want somebody else to just be trying to make themselves be a fan favorite who is only doing it so that they can bring the love of your fan base back over to where they call home. And that's not even the worst part of it to me. The worst part of it is the fact that when you have someone on your team like this, they might even want to say the most to be counting as doing the most. Because Krusty's someone who's literally doing the most to me. I'm going to show you guys some examples of a stream I was checking out because when Kanel got friends together to be all discussive and go over things that are recent, Krusty had so much shit to say. So much shit to say about drama they were discussing. And that's the thing that I found out about him is like, he's someone who does not want to keep his mouth shut about drama. He wants to discuss drama as much as he can and drag it out as much as he can because he loves to discuss that stuff.
Snoozy. Is Timmy in the chat? Can you see who's in the chat, bro?
That is the worst way to get caught in the chat, bro.
Reschedule? No, I'm not talking about this no more. It's just the fact that I don't want you guys to think like I'm the
Nigga
okay. Is did you add Caprisean back?
Yeah,
Wait, you deleted Discord?
Yes, I have storage.
Okay, my fault, bro.
you're muted, Krusty.
Krusty Pillow talking.
You see how mad he is, Zach?
Look at him, bro. Like, what is
I told y'all, like, Krusty was probably the most mad, bro.
Krusty, why are you muted, bro?
Bro,
I'm muted because
I'm talking about the situation in my chat, so they understand like how I feel about it. You feel me? Like what the text he sent me, bro. I could read it if you want.
That's just kind of what it is. Kanel keeps saying the same shit.
Yo,
Yeah, because you guys are a little
yo, can I
slow,
make
bro.
you realize? My bad. Can I make you realize something, Kanel?
What?
A little aggressive, ain't it?
No,
He got
I'm
a
aggressive
point.
with it
He
because
got a point.
bro, it's just annoying, bro. Because it's like, yo, nobody should be taken from somebody. Yo, bro, the point being is that the conversation was had the night before.
For some reason, you have people who are fine with talking about drama, and you got Krusty who is infatuated with it and talking like he's on a podcast and might as well make his own podcast because at that point you are yapping up a storm. If you find out someone in your circle loves to talk as much as they can about a situation while everyone else is finding ways to calm down about it, like in a Discord call like this, you might have to find a way to interject and say, I think that's enough for now. I think we've had enough for one night, stuff like that. Because if you think it's healthy to stop someone when they're talking about a subject so much, I get it. Because when somebody's ready to run their mouth so much about something, or they have the energy like they've been waiting to discuss it, it's pretty concerning to me. And they are problematic in that way. And he obviously wants to be the funny big dude everybody loves, but there's a thing about him really becoming more of like an outspoken person. Once you do stuff like that, you literally start making yourself so much different in people's eyes, and then they kind of want you gone. At that point, you'll be someone who's looked at like a joke, and you'll be treated like a meme inside that community. People don't like Krusty for this exact reason. He tries to push himself onto more and more videos, giving himself a lot of screen time, and I think he's a joke. I think he's ridiculous because when you're showing obvious signs that you really want to deride somebody's content and their image to make yourself likable from their spot, it couldn't be more noticeable than the signs he gives, and it's actually freaking stupid. He's like a shitty excuse for a Latino creator, and I think he's a clown. Next person is quite smaller to mention in details, but is basically the focal point of recent drama anyways. Jermichael is someone I really didn't like as a person the more I learned about stuff when piecing together some drama that involved him. It seems like he's someone who's really close to Kanel, one of the members who is actually like one of his closest friends in that space. I'm not sure exactly how heavy because I haven't seen him that much involved in videos. But even then, his personality is a thing that I despise. Out of people that you keep around or that you probably choose to keep around when actually trying to make a manageable, group or space like this. Basically, he's someone who's ready to press people when they let him know that they have a problem with him and how he comes across. He's someone who likes to troll by being the teasing type and having all these different things about like how he comes across that no one else in the group really has, as far as I've noticed. And then when he's ready to fight people, he'll insult them super hard, he'll come off really tough, and then he'll really just like get pushy on them, pressing them because he wants to feel and sound like the bigger person, like the tougher person, like he can actually overcome anybody dealing with him so that he's saying, yeah, don't mess with me in the first place. Because of this, I've seen that after he first scrapped with Kilo, they've never gotten to talk to each other normally again. And because of that, you could see that he actually has an effect on like being unpredictable to people, basically, about when he'll strike next, or if he really has a problem that he's keeping tucked away or underlying that he doesn't want people to know right away, but he'll definitely hold pent up stuff like he's ready to bite at someone at any time. So, because of all that, Kilo pieced together that, in his words as he talked to Kanel, he felt like Jermichael really is just a bully overall because he thinks what else would there be to define him? Like when it comes to somebody who has a tendency to get those things rising so frequently, or something that you just associate them with.
Oh shit, what happened? Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Germ got mad because I asked him about some shit. I deadass said, I said, bro, why is it that at the Friendsmas, you wanna fuck with me and not Krusty? Krusty is the one that tackled you, that did all this shit. You don't wanna fuck with Krusty. Okay, cool. But when you get pressed on the streets with Klein, with some other real YNs, you back down. Why is that? Why is that? He didn't like that. He didn't like that I brought that up. He didn't like that. He did not like that. He got real offensive, and that's why we back into this bullshit. And I asked Jern before I even spoke about this. I told him, I said, yo, I want to speak about something. Is that cool with you? He said, yeah. You size motherfuckers up before you fuck with them. Like, why is that? I said, it kind of feels like you bullying motherfuckers. And he said, nah, bro, like, woo, woo, woo. And the reason I said that was because I got word that Germ last time got pressed by some YNs downtown with Klein, and he was not on that. And I'm like, okay, so why is it that you on that type of timing with me? Yes, recently. And I'm like, why is it that you on that type of timing with me? Like, what did I do, bro? I've been knowing you way before Klein. Like, what the fuck are you on with me about? Like, what the fuck is the problem? He got real defensive. And then he ended the stream. Well, he stopped collaborating with me. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I called him on Discord, and he was like, nah, let me talk, bro. I let him talk everything he had to say, and I was like, okay, it's my turn. Let me speak on it. And he ended the call. He didn't want me to speak on it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And my whole chat's right here saying, don't play into Germ's bullshit. Germ got anger issues. Like, and I'm like, bro, I'm dead ass right now trying to fix it. Like, I'm trying to get on Discord with him and be like, yo, bro, it's done. Like, it is what it is. You win, I lose, whatever. Cool. But he's not trying to get in this Discord call with me.
To me, Jermichael's actions make him the worst kind of example of somebody to enter a group. Because it's somebody you have to contain and control or kick them out. Because, like, the things that he's done as a person is the kind of actions of somebody who has to be dealt with before it seems like their free reign is going to cause the downfall or the crumbling down of a whole group because of being able to do what they want. But people feel like Jermichael's main reason of not getting any repercussion yet at all is mainly because he's so close to Kanel. I see that. I see the reason why that would be a good theory. Because basically getting a pass or not really getting any sort of action being done because you don't really know if it's worth doing from a perspective like Kanel's just feels like it's ridiculous, but then might also be just thinking about for the content. Because, I mean, you never know what's actually being done or why some choices are being made, or if somebody running a channel just lacks the competency to really do that, which is the reason why I'm drifting more apart from this whole thing and explaining how all the things I'm listing in this video show that I've got like this breaking point with being disappointed in this whole community. Because with me making my own community, I would not even give a second chance to somebody with this kind of personality. I wouldn't even want to allow this kind of person have free reign as much as they can to throw shade at the people that they notice or they know don't agree with them, full on targeting them and knowing who they have basically beef with at that point. And it's ridiculous because it's like an on and off slew of drama. And one last thing, anyone who does like to troll to be a nuisance like this.
I apologize to Krusty and you. If anybody,
Look at Capri, bro.
I'm good.
Yo, Germ, stop fucking with the soundboards, bro. You like a kid with these fucking buttons, bro.
Right now on the shelf, 1 to 10.
Yo, Germ! Yeah. Shut the fuck up. This nigga keep playing this fucking dumbass soundboard.
He getting under your skin, folks.
Same thing. So.
Nah, really?
Yeah, get the frick out of here at this point. Because I don't deal with people like that. The next person is going to include some heavy stuff to mention, but it's all based on just how ridiculous it's all become. Because we're talking about someone named Gus. If you've been in Kanel's community for a long time, you probably know who I'm talking about because there's been a lot of involvement with some members over time based on like how they've become a part of this whole stuff. And I don't know if Gus is meant to be someone who's playing a character or a generally authentic gay person. But this is just one of the ways that if you're a streamer, if you're a YouTuber or whatever, you should not run jokes the way that this is being run. So Gus is someone who is brought along because he expressed himself as being Kanel's biggest crush or something. And then involving him in the videos has become more and more harder to watch or even tolerate and put up with when it's something that you kind of look forward to because of his involvement in it. And I'm not saying that in a way that's going to say because he's gay, he's making me uncomfortable. It's not because he's gay. It's because of how his personality comes across and the expressiveness of what he's like. In my experience, I can't be comfortable when people are talking about vulgar things, since I'm someone who's more pure and doesn't really get into vulgar subjects. Anyone expressing themselves with sexual details and vulgarity is just going to make me feel much more like I don't want to be there. And that's what Gus brings around a lot of the time when he's in videos. The things he says to Kanel that just fuel the jokes inside the community just makes it worse because it's all about the influence of what gets passed around and what's constantly being fed. When Kanel gets rejected by a girl as a straight man, and Gus tells him, "Oh, you'll always have me," and it fuels this joke in the community of Kanel x Gus that doesn't die. The jokes are being ran by teenagers, and the joke itself is being done by people who wanted it to stay because they really don't mind the setup of that just to probably get views or something. Like whatever is going to help make it more entertaining. And the reason I say the jokes are done by teenagers is because I don't see any grown adult piling onto this in the way the jokes are being continuously done. I think the joke is lame. I think it's stupid. And it's okay if Gus makes people uncomfortable. There's not a problem with the person or, the kind of person they are, what they identify as, this and that. It's just there's like an unexplainable kind of energy that comes from that. Maybe you can explain it, but to me, it's hard to explain it. It's hard to really put into words because I don't know what to say about it. I just know that the more he's on, the more off put I get. When he's around, I can hardly tolerate some videos. If you know what I'm saying, you just know. Another small mention I'm gonna have is just a small mention to get out the way. It's about someone else introduced and continuing to just get screen time afterwards. Caprisean, whatever his name is, just doesn't feel like he belongs. It feels like his inclusion just isn't there. And I don't know if his inclusion is meant to be rage bait sometimes based on how his actions are portrayed, but he just doesn't seem like he has any reason to be along for the group stuff, along for the ride. There was a moment where I don't know if it was meant to ruin Pokemon cards, I don't know if it was meant to be scripted, but the actions with him doing something like, so negative just feel like they seem forced to really like have him be included with something attributed to him or tied to him to make him significant, apart from everybody else in the group who are meant to just come across as cool members. I know like all these people are meant to be their own creators in their own spaces, and they're using Kanel kind of as a crutch, not all the time, but sometimes, But I feel like this guy has no reason to be there, mainly because I just don't like his face. I don't like the way he like comes across. I don't like the smugness or attitude, energy, whatever. It's just mainly annoying to me. I just feel like there's some annoying people, and it's okay if there are some annoying people out there in the world. Which is the reason why I think that it also fits into the types of people that you gotta be careful of letting in your group as a creator. Annoying people might just ruin the fun for viewers a lot of the time. Now, the last member I'm going to mention here is someone I've only very seen rarely, but even then, I was just surprised at why they're involved at the same time. And it's a guy named Timothy, or they just call him Timmy. He's on the side, kind of like how the cameramen are. And I've only seen him like in one video that really like had him be part of it to really like see more people that I guess are part of the production or whatever, there's some things I can put together about how he's completely different from everybody else and stands out way too much. Like if he's not built for this whole thing. So this whole piece of drama came out in Kanel's community where Kilo was the first one to share that Timmy stole a card of Caprisean's and then it made everybody pile on him when they knew it was him. But that was what they mainly discussed in Discord to really chat amongst themselves because it was such a big thing. Definitely getting something stolen from somebody is crazy because trying to steal it mainly for its value, because he hoped it had a lot of value, was the thing that he did that made it so heavy. And because of that, because of being someone who isn't at the forefront and probably doesn't interact with many of them normally, to try and like have the opportunity to take something and thinking that you're the person they at least expect to be the culprit just because you're so separated and probably to yourself more often, not really interacting much. It's the reason why I say I feel like he's not built for all that. He's not built for the environment where everybody has to have energy and has to be around each other to really do that. With everyone there being for the content, it seems like he shouldn't be there in the first place if that's not what embodies him like everybody else. And when Kanel was mentioning the details about the whole thing, he was mentioning how everybody there was piling onto Timmy, and Kanel didn't want that. But that's the thing, is that if you especially stand out apart from everybody else like that, they're going to think you're nothing but trouble going forward. But here's the other thing that makes it seem like he doesn't need to be there, or he doesn't need to be in the whole sphere in the first place. When Krusty decided to share off-camera footage, another reason why I don't like Krusty doing the most, he had to show footage of Jermichael pushing Caprisean to the ground, another reason why I don't like Jermichael. And in that footage, Krusty is clowning Timmy for running off, for fleeing the scene the way he does.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it there. Listen to me. Timmy ran like a bitch. Look at Timmy. Oh, he did run. Look at this little ass.
I'm pretty sure everyone else is talking about it in the Discord segment of the stream because of how it was and because of how he wants to separate himself. You could say it's funny, but what else I get from it is that he comes across as so pathetic. I'm not saying that as a means to tear somebody down. I don't usually sound like I'm insulting people, and I'm definitely not trying to do that here. I'm mainly saying it because he seems like he has a reason to be so separate, and for him to want to be away from all that and showing how he runs off to get away so easily, it shows how much he stands out and how he's not built to be around this kind of scene. Heck, if you're letting the people in your group call you Timmy instead of Timothy, since I already know you as Timmy in the first place, it makes you sound like a joke, like I can't expect to take you seriously already. So, you can't have a Timmy in your group, man. You just can't. If somebody in your group's gonna be like that, talk to them and make sure if they really gotta open up to everybody else. The point to take from this is, these guys all gotta go. These aren't the kind of people you want to keep around, especially when forming your own community that will give your friends screen time in your content. And the reason why I haven't mentioned Kilo, well, that's obvious. Kilo is the only sensible person seeing things as they are when you step back and take it all in. He's the only Latino I like from Kanel's group, and he's a real one compared to all these motherfuckers. In my opinion, I think I'm done watching Kanel Joseph. I think the people I listed have ruined it for me, because they've only made the content worse and more intolerable with their involvement. And it shows that you really got to control the people that are a part of your content, because they might just drag all of your stuff down with them the more that they're involved. You really got to cut off people who are the problem. And I think that's a big thing to take with you from all this if you are going to want to make stuff involved with other people. But you're the face of it, and you think about how you got to manage who you're including. But thank you all for watching and listening to my thoughts and advice. If you're interested in letting me know your thoughts, or you want to generally tell me some things you'd like me to cover, leave them down in the comments below. And until you hear me express more of my thoughts like this, ACN, we up.